Hello there and welcome to my Power Siphon build guide. Finally, we're here in the Harvest League. Yeah, quick disclaimer before we are getting started. The TLDR part will come in the beginning after the map showcase, where we'll just quickly go over how it's supposed to work and so on, and we'll go way more in depth after that, as always. Also just disclaimer part 2, if you have any questions regarding this build, you can probably find an answer in the comments and or any pinned messages or this description. Description always will have my Twitch link, my Discord link and the POB in it. If there's anything that I don't answer in this video or questions that come up after I release the video, just feel free to ask me either here on YouTube, where I will answer like probably like an hour later or whatever, or how fast I can respond, or just ask me live on my Twitch, which is again a German stream, so it's I will obviously answer in English, but it's mainly for a German audience, so keep that in mind. But yeah, two things before. This character as of now is more optimized towards playing with a headhunter, as it's just way more efficient as always. You know the item, it's pretty busted, right? It's not a secret that this item is still incredibly powerful, and it's also not a secret that Power Siphon scales enormously well with headhunter stacks and all the buffs we will be granted by this item. It basically trivializes the game, the mapping experience and whatever, so it's incredibly busted. Alright, keep that in mind. That's what I'm running right now at the moment, because just way more chill to map with it if you have one. I bought this like a week ago or something for 65x. I don't know how the price, I think the price even dropped a few x, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But keep that in mind. So that's why my character is geared the way it is at the moment, and that is also the case why I'm not rest capped without my Wise Oak, because it's just a little bit more damage and I can sustain the Flask charges at the moment. Alright, I just want to get this out. The map showcase will obviously be done with Darkness Enthroned. If you want to be rest capped, just use 2 all rest jewels like I did before. I just made this switch, I think yesterday or something. 2 all rest jewels, I would be rest capped, but damage would be a little bit lower. Alright, so I just want to get this out before people reeing at me in a comment, you were running Headhunter, or I'm not rest capped, or just rest capped with a Flask, which is extremely dangerous, and I would not recommend it anyway. Alright, I'm just doing this because I currently have a Flask charge on Crit Watcher's Eye in here, which is again more vanity stuff for a later stage of the build, but this is not included in the like main build guide, or just it's not really recommended at all. Alright, I just want to get this out before we are starting, so everyone is clear and we're on the same page of how we're going to do things. Alright, but yeah, just look up for a map. Let's see, I want to choose the Drox Citadel for a showcase. So if I run a map, obviously there are map mods which I will discuss while running it, that are like not recommended or that are like annoying to play. Alright, again, yeah, Darkness Enthroned. Alright, no Headhunter equipped. So map mods that are annoying are things like cannot regen life and mana, and yes, which obviously is annoying always on almost every character, without like a few exceptions maybe. But yeah, our main region is Leech anyways, so the other mod that is probably more bothering for me is the reduced recovery mod, right? So in Awakening 8 there's a 72% reduced recovery from Leech. That also means that our mana region is a little bit worse, and yeah, overall it's just not that much fun, to be honest, to use it. Oh, we have a Legion too. Pretty nice for a showcase. It lags a little bit because my computer isn't warmed up right. Just woke up like 1 or 2 hours ago. But yeah, as you can see, the clear is pretty good. I mean, it's obviously Herald of Ice, Herald of Ash build. Why wouldn't the clear be good, right? I mean, that's probably common sense that something like that is pretty dope. Main part of our clear comes from aerodynamics, from a cluster jewel that gives us +1 pierce. Pierce is pretty nice. Yeah, let me just skip all the loot, it's not that interesting, and we can probably loot that later on after I'm done with the video. I don't need to bother you with all of that. Let's just go find the boss, deal with him, and be done with. Alright. It's our boy Hillock, and I will switch to Barrage for the Elder Slayer boy, but not for the boss like this. Let's see, we just pop a portal in the case I die for whatever cause. We go back in, we need to resummon one of our golems just to be sure they're all alive. It's a little bit of minus part in this build. Normally they don't take much damage, but sometimes they do, and then you have to respawn them just to make sure you have all the buffs up. But yeah, let's do Drox. And we faced him already, that's pretty dope. Just going to attack him a little bit more, pop our flasks, we should probably finish him real soon. And there he's dead. Right. Could have probably made it a little bit more clean, just using our flask charges way earlier. But yeah, I think it's fine. It should showcase that the boss damage capabilities are there. Barrage really helps. I don't really need to swap in Barrage for Hypothermia for almost any content except Elder Slayers and bosses. And I will obviously not showcase the Zero Sword now, as I'm not really 100% comfortable with it, but we'll get that later. And why that is that I'm not really 100% comfortable with it right now, especially because I'm at like, what is it, 83%, I'm close to leveling up, so I don't want to scuff my XP again. But yeah, that was a map showcase. Again, like the map mods we can't run obviously is the reflect stuff. If I wouldn't have physical damage here and I would use a Piscator's Vigil, I could also run the first reflect if my Wrath of Conviction doesn't hit shit, or I just don't like the Spellslinger part there. Alright, so that's probably the TLDR for mapping. Anything else is pretty viable. You can run all the reduced curse mods, reduced ailment shit, it's totally fine. You're sure your clear won't be as good because Herald of Ice, Herald of Ash isn't just exploding the entire map, but it's still fine. But yeah, that's it. Let's go through the TLDR part, alright, for everyone that is a little bit more experienced in the game. What are we doing? We are playing Elementalist. We are going for Mastermind of Discord and Elementalist. That means we want to have 3 Heralds, one of each element, so Fire, Thunder and Ice, or Ash, Thunder and Ice. And we obviously want to have 4 golems because we're using League of the Primordial and Elementalist with the Golemancer or the Golem Commander Ascendancy. That gives us 4 golem slots. We can swap out Fire for Stone for more regen. We're going to start here, going to one Slinger. We obviously want to take Throat Seeker later on. I will switch after the level up to take a little bit life out and go for Throat Seeker. Then go left, take the Wand Nodes, take the Herald Staff. I probably would go for some mana reservation and stuff, and the rest is pretty self-explanatory. All the good wand nodes. We're going for the alley stuff here, glance and blows for more block, then craft some jewel classes. I went for Fortified Smite the Weak, probably need Feed of Fury here also, but that is something that I'll craft on later. I'm not really that concerned about it, and it will give a lot of DPS, but it's probably more than enough right now. And for the medium ones, just get Eye to Eye and Repeater and some aerodynamics in Repeater, because Repeater is one of the best skills right here. It gives the most damage. Eye to Eye is pretty nice, but only for nearby stuff. That's why I'm going into close range for most of the bosses. And aerodynamics is needed for 1 additional pierce, but more than 1 aerodynamics is not really necessary. You want to, let me just go into D&D right here, and I'm in caps mode. D&D, alright. You want to have a Mantra of Flames. It's just huge bonkers DPS. You want to have 1% reduced mana resolved anywhere, so you have some more free mana. It's really annoying if you don't have it, and I highly recommend you getting this. Endgame is just watches Eye of the Flask charge on crit, and then crit mod your attack speed. And yeah, that's basically it. Get Abyss Jewels anywhere, like life, flat damage to attacks, wand attacks, attack speed, crit multi, whatever floats your boat, just any combination of those, but flat damage is extremely king in this build. That's why I chose all the Abyss Jewels. You can swap out the boots for Elusive Tailwind and get pretty much the same DPS, but I really like this way of building the character, so I went for this. But yeah, therefore it really helps with deleting some corpses for annoying bosses like the port boss and mob, where it spawns like these like forking tornado shot style projectiles that can just completely fluke you and all your golems. So I went for bubonics, but again, elusive and tailwind, pretty nuts, pretty OP, pretty dope, totally fine. I think like MBX has mirror tiered or mirror tier boots at the moment with an abyss socket. That will probably be the best in-slot thing right here, but we don't really need more gem sockets. I mean, you could use increased duration, but it's totally up to you. And a weakness here, +1 gem, +2 projectiles, whatever. Totally up to you again. For the enchantment, 2 additional projectiles or attack speed is the best one. There's like golem buff effect or attack speed, but yeah. You want to have, you don't need leech here, especially not the physical leech, also we don't deal any physical damage. You can start with the Piscidas or whatever wand. I'm currently crafting something else right here, which I'll showcase real quick. There we go, this is the wand I'm currently crafting at. I want to get the lightning damage per int and then flat lightning, flat fire. I'm currently recrafting this, but yeah. Alright, that's the TLDR. You can see the skills in the POB. We have the golems, we have the heralds, we have spellslinger with conviction, innervate, combustion, just some fortify, shield charge, and some chaos golem. Put in flame dash and second wind when you're doing bosses like Cyrus, where you can dash through the beams, then get precision in one of the rings and blood rage in the other one, or wherever you want to put these that do not need support. This goes for all the heralds and all the golems. They don't need any support gems, they just go in anywhere, so it's totally up to you. And for the main link, we're using inspiration with ally damage with attacks. You can use the awakened gem here with energy leech, hypothermia, and power siphon. Obviously you can use a Vaal power siphon if you're so pleased to. You will change hypothermia for barrage for really hard bosses, and you can obviously leech all the time with energy leech, and that gives us all the bonus from Fear the Fight and Fear the Fury of the cluster jewels. Alright, that was a quick TLDR part. I hope that's enough information for the people of you that only want the information real quick, and let's get into the more in-depth part. Alright, let's start with the Ascendancy. The Ascendancy is an Elementalist, which might be a little bit weird for some people because Elementalist is extremely underused right now. It's like 1.5 or 2% of the entire league playing Elementalist, and I think like 40% or 50% are just playing golem builds and stuff, which I think is really boring. I mean, I play minion builds too, don't get me wrong. My league starter was a minion build for like 3 leagues now or something, because it's really chill and laid back, but golems are really boring in my opinion, so I choose to go with golems just as support. They only give me damage, their defense is non-existent, their damage is definitely non-existent, they're just there and buffing me basically, because those 2 nodes basically double my damage. This is insane. A League of the Primordial together with the elements, that gives about 160% increased damage for us. We're totally ailment immune against any elemental ailments. That means freeze, shock, ignite, and so on. You can see that here. Our avoidance is 140%. Yeah, so this is insane in itself, but you probably want to rush Pendulum of Destruction, which is okay. The area effect is really nice, but the elemental damage is not that good. I mean, you don't feel it that much. But you want to get Mastermind of Discord. This is the important node for the insane pen values and the increased effect of the Herald buffs, as well as mana reservation. Alright, that's the Ascendancy for you. Just go for the first lap, get Pendulum of Destruction and get Mastermind of Discord as fast as you possibly can. Then go for the golems. Elements up. You probably want to rush there, but it's not really a need to. It's really nice to have the permanent immunity to ailments. Before that, you probably need a anti-freeze and probably also an anti-ignite or shock flask, whatever you feel you need. But I probably only would use the anti-freeze flask. But yeah, that's the Ascendancy for you. That's an Elementalist. For the skill tree and the progress, we will want to rush 1 Slinger as fast as possible. This basically converts any % spell damage increases to overall damage for us, or attack damage. Therefore, so that means that a wand, for example the imbued wand right here, that gives us 35% increased spell damage, would instead give us, for the Power Siphon, 35% increased attack damage, because Power Siphon is an attack projectile, right? So getting this early on is really good. Like level 10 or something, or whatever level you might get this at, it can really save your ass, right? This is dealing a lot of damage early on. This is insane. Once you got this, you probably want to move up, get all the wand nodes. Early on, you probably only want to take nodes up to Fusilade, because after that it's basically crit multi stuff. Elder Power is really nice, but you probably can skip that, although I just went all the way in and just got all of them early on. After that you want to move left, get the Discord Artisan and get the Heralds going in Act 2 or whatever. So only get this once you're Act 2. You probably want to go over the 5% reduced mana reservation node right here, just to make sure that your mana is completely topped off. For example, if you don't have a 1% reduced mana reserved jewel like this one, just get one of these nodes and you should be totally golden in terms of mana. That should probably fix all your issues you have. At the moment I have a little bit less mana than I want to. I only have 60 mana left. But yeah, that's just the easy solution therefore to save some money and get a pretty good Mantra of Flames. Once you're done here, go over to the Golem Commander. If you already have the Golems but you don't need it early on, you can probably just go into crew preparation, grab some life here. You don't need this node until later, because early on you don't have that much flat life and therefore the percent life isn't that necessary. Just go over here, grab Prism Weave and skip the cluster jewels for now, unless you already have something like this, or something that has any combination of 2 of the mods, which are Fuel the Fight, Smite the Weak or Feed the Fury. There's like one crit node in there, opportunistic whatever it's called. This is also good, but those 3 are the best from my testing so far. But yeah, if you have this, take it, go ahead. Medium jewel sockets should be a combination of 2 repeater nodes, 1 aerodynamics and 1 eye-to-eye. Repeater being the best node we can take here as of now, but probably would argue otherwise. But for my testing and from my feeling, this was the best. You can obviously use any other medium cluster jewel that you might reckon is good for the build, but I personally from my testing could argue that the aerodynamic pierce is pretty dope, and the increased attack speed as well as the projectile damage to nearby enemies is really nice. You obviously want to have a cluster jewel, a small cluster jewel socket where you can socket in a searching eye. You can obviously go for 2 passive node fatal jewels here too, but those give way more damage and almost the same life for the points you're using. Then if you so choose to do this or not, go further down here. You want to go over Devotion. You can instantly go into Holy Dominion to give yourself a chance to freeze, shock and ignite if you don't already have that. And then go into Divine further and probably get some life, or just go straight down here, get Lancing Blows to be at least block capped in terms of attack damage, which should be pretty easy, like a 30% block shield or whatever. You should be almost block capped, which is really easy, and then go into Sanctuary or go into Sanctuary before. It's totally up to you at this point. This is just some defensive stuff that is helpful but really not needed in the early game in my opinion, because you should be tanky enough and or killing mobs instantly. Yeah, that's it. And then once you're done with all of that stuff right here, you can go over here in this tree, take all the nodes for Written in Blood, go down here, get the Blood Drinker and get Blood Siphon. Anything else here is optional, like the Assassination and Trickery, and you only need to get Frenetic once you're using Blood Rage and you're actively killing monsters in the map, because Blood Rage will grant you frenzy charges if you kill something while it's active. That obviously doesn't go for bosses, of course. Here in this slot you can swap in a Intuitive Leap to get Mind Drinker and lose this point right here, so only Frenetic is allocated. This will net the same amount of passive point, but obviously you will lose the access to another Abyss Jewel, which will increase your damage overall. But this way, if you're taking Mind Drinker, you can skip out on Fuel the Fight, which is actually really nice. It allows us to have permanent mana, basically. It's really good in the node itself because it increases damage, gives attack speed, pretty dope. Feed the Fury, on the other hand, gives way more damage and some attack leech for life, which is not needed as we are already leech capped right now. Alright, I think that's everything I had to say for the skill tree. We'll go over the items, which include all the Abyss Jewels later, just not right now. It's really not that interesting right now. It's basically just flat damage, life, and either crit mode or attack speed on crit. One of the mandatory unique jewels, or like the really good unique jewels, would be Mantra of Flames. It's insane. It gives so much damage because any of your heralds and any of your golems is counted as a buff, and therefore you're getting ridiculous amounts of damage. I think that also counts in auras, but I'm not 100% sure about that, and I don't want to make you believe that it does. I haven't tested yet, but it's still really insane either way, and I can highly recommend you getting one of these. Again, either get 1% reduced mana reserved or some other really good corruption. I really prefer this one, or Corrupting Blood. And if you can get the mana reserve, just take one note here and you're totally golden in terms of mana. Alright, that's the tree for you. Make modifications if you like. Again, keep in mind Throat Seeker is incredible, but only later on. I will only switch to this once I level up. I'll just take out a few life nodes, for example this life node here, and probably one here or something, and then just go into Throat Seeker because damage and the crit is incredible. It's so much crit multi that you can get here. It's completely nuts, and damage is really incredible. But yeah, keep that in mind. Also, you don't want to use Wicked Ward because it will decrease the amount you leech, and therefore you can't really sustain energy shield anymore. Keep that in mind, please. And for the Pantheon, you want to have Solve Arakali, which I still need to upgrade. I currently have Aberrath in there because I had issues with Burning Ground like a few days back, but you probably want to use Shakiri as everybody else because our Chaos Res is not really kept at the moment. So yeah, that's everything I had to say for that. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's go over to the skills, which I will showcase you in the Path of Building because it's just better to see in my opinion. Alright, let's go into the skills section. We have Power Siphon with all the other skills that I mentioned earlier. We have Inspiration, Energy Leech, Hypothermia, Elemental Attacks, and or Barrage. You will swap out Barrage and Hypothermia. Barrage for bosses, Hypothermia for mapping. This is currently bossing DPS, which is, again, a bit inflated. It's probably like 8 million or something, which is still enough. You've seen Drox Melt. It's really easy to deal a lot of damage. And whatever the number here will be, if it would be 50 million or 5 million, you've seen the damage. You can confirm that for yourself. I was in a map. Every buff was off. I didn't have a headhunter or anything else. The damage is legit. It's totally more than you need for all the content. You're safe. You can even take a hit from him. It's totally fine. So switch in Barrage for Hypothermia when you're doing hard bosses, but normally Hypothermia is totally enough for any map boss that you encounter. Maybe not if they have like increased life or something, or more life. This can get quite annoying, but you will obviously know that from your own builds. But yeah, that's our main link. It's Socket in the body armor. Body armor currently gives me +1 to Socket gems, +2 to projectile gems, and or increased damage by 50% would probably be also good. But yeah, there are really a lot of possible corruptions. I just took this one. The Socket Curse obviously doesn't do shit for me. Further on the other links, we just have our Heralds and our Golems anywhere in our gear. That really doesn't matter where they are. Just socket them in any open slot. I, as of now, chose to use my wand for 3 of my golems, and the fourth one is here, and my gloss for the other heralds because it was easy to color them that way, and the boots for an immortal call cast for damage taken. Then in the helmet we have Spellslinger with Wave of Conviction, Innervate, and Combustion. Why is that? So we're using Spellslinger because it's a very easy method of triggering a spell with a wand attack, which Power Siphon obviously is. We then use Hyper Conviction because it will increase our damage dealt for the corresponding element. This will be, yeah, basically swapped between fire or lightning damage. So one time your fire damage might be higher if you have a better one than me, or a worse one. In this case, fire damage is obviously higher for this one as it's T1 fire damage. But for some of you that might be the case for lightning damage. But yeah, either way, combustion then reduces the enemy's fire risk a little bit more, so we deal even more damage. And then innervate is only for mapping, as you need to kill enemies with Wave of Conviction on a regular basis, like every 12 seconds or whatever it is. I don't know if it lasts 8 seconds, it states here, but I think it lasts a little bit longer in my opinion, but that doesn't matter anyways. So you will get the innovate buff probably like 95% of the map time, which is the case for me at least. Yeah, for the other skills in the shield we have Shield Charge of Fortify. You can switch this out for Flame Dash and Second Wind if you're doing stuff like Osiris or Cirrus. Or any hard bosses where you can just charge with a shield charge through beams, like Uber Elder, the Shaper Beam for example, or Cyrus's last phase, like the Plus or X Beam, whatever if you want to call it, where you have to actively dodge stuff, alright? This will help make these fights even possible. Before that I tried a Cyrus, I killed one with this character with shield charge, it was okay. But the second one was really hard with Shield Charge, so I opted in to catch 2 white sockets here, so I don't have to recolor it all the time. This is pretty easy with Harvest and Orisi, which I did this shield with, so yeah, it's pretty easy to get this going. And for the last 2 things, you have Precision and Blood Rage. Just here, again, Precision doesn't need any quality, you can probably get 21 if your mana can sustain it. Yeah, that's for the skills. Again, there aren't any special things you have to keep in mind. Just keep all your flasks up, run through the map, bombard everything with Power Siphon. It will deal with anything that's in your way, and the rest will be dealt with your Heralds, which should just explode off anything. So yeah, that. And I think that should cover all the skills in my opinion. So let's go to the last section, which is the items, right? So as many of you might know, this character was supposed to be a maximum Abyss socket character. So I tried to stuff in all the Abyss sockets I possibly could, which were I think 13 at the time. And then I decided, well, it's like fun. It was a dream for me for at least 2 years to make this build, but I couldn't really wrap my head around on how I wanted to play it or I wanted to build it. So this league finally took its form in the form of a Maximum Abyss dual socket Elementalist that uses Power Siphon, which is again one of my favorite skills. Fucking overloaded. Let's just go quickly back. Power Siphon gives you 8 free projectiles. This is 2 times a GMP support gem. It gives you free Culling Strike, which again is like insane. You can just kill any mob at 20% life or less. I think bosses is like 10 or 15 with Culling Strike, whatever, but it's still insane, alright? Just getting a free Culling Strike. You will then get 20% increased damage from the quality, which is really good on Power Siphon again, because we are scaling so much flat damage into it. And then, if all of that wasn't enough, we also get free Power Charge then on hitting a rare or unique. Again, we obviously get that through the tree right here, because we took this node to get them on kill 2 and stuff. So it's pretty easy to air for Power Charges, right? And if all of that already wasn't enough, we also get free crit chance and crit multiple Power Charge. Like, dude, this skill is insane and I fucking love it. Alright, this skill is completely nuts. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. I can't say anymore. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so for the items, we always want to have a wand. There's a T1 attack speed, T1 crit chance, T1 crit multi, and triple damage implicits. What I'm crafting right now, I can showcase this really quick as I did before in the TLDR part. I'm crafting this wand right here. I mod this base with T1 attack speed, T1 crit multi, T1 crit chance, which are the perfect suffixes in my opinion. You should get something like this early on and then craft the prefixes because they are way easier, because you can just shift fire damage or lightning damage all the way around, and it's pretty easy that way. You want to have a hunter one that gets you the lightning damage per int. Alright, that is the mod you're looking for on this one basically. And then you want to have, if possible, T1 flat lightning, but that is really, yeah, I wouldn't say you would get that. let's say it that way. It's like a 1 in 2,000 chance or whatever to get a really high lightning damage roll and the hunter mod. So for the prefixes, probably flat fire, flat cold, and then the lightning damage per int. You can obviously then go for a little bit more int on your gear wherever you can fit it. But yeah, that's the one for you. That would be the perfect one as of now. Again, you don't need that much quality. You can swap quality for ally damage or attack speed on the one with the enchant of harvest. It's totally up to you what you want to do with that. It really doesn't make that much of an impact, but yeah, feel free to do it. Let's go back. But this is my current one, that I say that it has T1 fire, like T4 cold or something, and crafted lightning damage with T1 attack speed and T4 base crit or something, so it's not really there yet, but you can probably get started with a Piscator's Vigil. That is really easy. Let's see if I have something in here. Yeah, I do have one in here. That's a perfect rolled one that would lose a little bit damage, but this is one Chaos wand and not like a 100x wand or something. So yeah, feel free to use a Piscator's Vigil until you get a better wand, but those are really not that expensive. For the shield, there's really nothing else that I would recommend other than Light of Lunaris. It's basically 50 to 60 chaos, it's really cheap, but this shield gives us 100% crit multi. I mean, I'm at 500% plus crit multi even after the crit multi nerfs, which is a really big number in my opinion. You can probably easily get to 600 if you invest a little bit more into more crit multiplier on your Abyss shields. But this is insane, and this shield is nuts. Alright, the cold damage spells, yeah, we don't profit from that. We don't profit from the crit chances spells too, but the energy shield is pretty okay. It's like 170, I'm currently at 1.5 KES, which is really dope. You would probably want to have 9% chance to block right here, which I don't have at the moment, to be perfectly block capped, as I'm only at 74% right now. But yeah, I would just went for this because it was like 15 chaos cheap or something. Yes, I'm a fucking cheapsteak and I know that. Alright, but again, it gives you incredible amounts of damage. You probably will deal non-crit anyways, because my crit chance at the moment is like 86% or something. It's probably always up. The 25% bonus crit multi. And yeah. For the helmet, I had a hair indicator in here before. For the Abyss Jewel variant of this, which is again not really good, but it's way more fun in my opinion. You want to have Crown of your own What Eye with either Power Siphon, additional projectiles, or attack speed. You can always use the Blood Rage attack speed enchant or Golem buff effect, whatever. You can check all of these in here under the enchant list and just look up enchant. It's like minus 5% DPS. Alright, let's go over to a golem for kind of like flame golem or whatever for the buff effect. Right, it's like what, like minus 6% DPS or whatever. That's single target with a barrage, by the way. When you're going for clear, my current enchantment will do shit for clear. It will do nothing at all. Please be aware of that, because you already have like 9 projectiles, so 1 base plus 8 is 9. Obviously have 9 projectiles. You have your Herald of Ice, your Herald of Ash, so clear is not an issue. This is purely single target, and I got this enchant for I think 2x, which in my opinion is again really cheap for the perfect endgame helmet right here. You can obviously get something else, but I would recommend this, as we already get a lot of scaling with life, ES and mana through our skill tree and item choices. Then further on we have a Shroud of the Lightless. Let's see, yeah, there we go. So Shroud of the Lightless is a really nice armor. It gives level 20 Elipan, which basically combines lightning, fire and cold penetration support gems in one gem without equality, obviously. Shade form is basically makes you less, your chance to be detected by enemies is smaller, so you're basically in an elusive mode or whatever. And yeah, it's pretty okay. The evasion energy shield roll really doesn't matter that much, but it's nice to have, I guess. You're probably looking for a high life and mana multiplier for the Crown of the Inward Eye. And yeah, that's basically it. Get a good corruption, either +1 socket gems, +2 projectile gems, 50% increased damage, everything is totally fine, but the plus gem level is obviously a little bit better than the percent damage. Good, double corruptions should be available, but I didn't find any at the time. I got this for like 1 or 2x, and I'm pretty happy with that, as I can use it as I so please to. Again, you're getting life and mana per Abyss Jewel. This again will scale across the Inward Eye a little bit more. Alright, let's go to the gloves, I think. Alright, those are Tomb Fists. I have Tomb Fists with 1 Abyss sock because you only need 1 with a Murderous Eye Jewel as of now. We don't need 2. Again, for the Max Abyss Jewel variant, you probably want to, but this build, which is a little bit better or a bit more advanced, like the first version, which was basically just a meme for me, we only need 1 to get the Intimidate on hit. Then again, Ally Weakness is nice, but it's more like a vanity thing because bosses have decreased curse effectiveness. And yeah, so that's it. Just get this, get 6% life, be done with like 1 or 2x. Then for the Bubonics, those are like 10 chaos item, I feel. I don't know, all of these items are incredibly cheap right now, even with 2 Abyss sockets, they are disgustingly cheap. I currently have a wrong enchantment. I'll probably want to have the fire damage. Right here, and probably also the if you've been hit recently, because I don't plan on not getting hit, I plan on getting hit but blocking it away. Yeah, so this probably is fine if it would be fire or lightning damage, but it doesn't really matter. Just get anything else that is suitable for your build. Even get movement speed if you're so pleased to be a little bit more fast, or go for the evasion on crit and tail or whatever, no, elusive and tailwind boots, whatever they are called. On crit mods there with some life, some res, and yeah, movement speed of course, 35%, you can get more of these, but this and the elusive and tailwind boots are almost the same DPS, because we're losing a lot of percent damage right here if we choose those over, or if we choose the elusive and tailwind boots over these. Alright, I hope you get what I'm saying, because I don't. But yeah. As of now, those are totally fine. Those are like, I don't know, less than half an Exort. Maximum. I don't know the price at the moment, but they probably will change in the future. But yeah, keep that in mind. You can use the elusive tailwind boots here, but they aren't really that much better. For the belt, again, Darkness Enthroned, or if you have the budget, get a Headhunter. It's insane on this build. Like, every single mod is profitable for our build. It's completely ridiculous. You get like 5 more projectiles, you get flat damage to everything, your tutor will disappear because your integer cap will reach unseen numbers. It is nuts. Power Siphon is hands on the best spell to scale a Headhunter with. It's ridiculous, right? But Darkness Enthroned is the most close thing you can get with 2 really good jewels. As of now, I'm using just double attack, crit multi and life, and here triple attack with life on there. You can probably get a lot better jewels right here, because everything that these jewels have, it doesn't matter which mod it is, it will get increased, right? If it's like a 7% chance to get Onslaught and it's a 9% chance or whatever, like, no, not 9, like 11% or whatever the chance is to get Onslaught then on this jewel. If you have minion damage, if you did minion skill recently, or if you've used a minion skill recently, then this also gets scaled up. Everything that these jewels have will get scaled up. That also goes for the implicits. And for the implicits I have, let me see, I have one that gives me movement speed, and I have this one right here, which is a cluster jewel, which doesn't fit, but you can get these on Abyss jewels too, I think, which will give me a chance to avoid being stunned, and this way you can probably get completely stun immune, which again shouldn't be really an issue because you're probably killing everything before it even touches you. But yeah, keep that in mind, just use your best jewels here. And for the other slots, you need to have a Searching Eye with Onslaught. One with Blind is really nice. Phasing is recommended if you're going to Delve. Yeah, that's basically it. For the Searching Eye dudes, I would highly recommend getting Searching Eyes because they're way easier to craft. You want to have life with 2 or 3 damage to attack mods, which are elemental based, so either normal generic attacks or wand attacks as seen here. And for the 4th mod, either get another attack mod like the first 2, or get attack speed on crit, or get crit multi. Either one of these is totally fine and will help dealing your damage. For the vanity items, again, Watcher's Eye with a Flask charge on crit and crit multi, or attack speed with precision is pretty dope, but costs a lot. This cost me like 20x, and yeah, again, I would only recommend this if you have the currency for it. If you don't have something like this, you will probably need to get a Stygian Wise with the Hunter mod that does the exact same, that gives you Flask charges on crit. Otherwise, you will probably have a lot of problems with bosses. Alright, it is necessary because our Leech is with our Flask, our crit is with our Flask, our defense is with our Flask. In my current setup, you can obviously go for the rest jewels in here that I showcased earlier on. Just get all res and then put in a Basalt Flask with increased armor. Let me see, currently when I'm only using this Granite Flask, which I would have in my normal setup, I'm at 50%. If I use the Basalt 2, I'm at 84% physical damage reduction, alright? So you are way more defensive with this setup if you choose the all-res jewels and swap out the Wise Oak for Basalt, but damage will obviously lag a little bit behind. It's not much, but it's a little bit, so use at your own risk and do whatever feels comfortable for you. You can probably go for the Basalt Flask version first and then test out slowly how the Wise Oak variant with less overall enemy res feels like, but you will still be res capped with the Wise Oak, obviously. But yeah, do whatever you find suitable for you. This is a budget build, you can get this running for 10x and probably crush endgame, but you can obviously invest way more into it. But as of now, 10 to 20x is totally more than enough to completely obliterate any T16 map. Go to 400 delve. I'm at the moment, let me see, I'm not at 400 yet. I'm at 390 and I had no issues. It was a total breeze, it was fucking chill and laid back to delve. It's really, really interesting how well Headhunter scales in delve and how well it scales with Power Siphon or normal Power Siphon. But yeah, I also did like 300 plus with the Darkness Enthroned. It's easy, alright? Trust me, you can see it on my stream. It's really like a bag. And for the last items, we have the Amulet, which is one of a kind in this case. So what do you want here? You want to have life. Obviously, this is also an old amulet. It doesn't have the physical leech mod on there. But you want to have an amulet that got life. It got flat elemental damage to attacks, whatever. It got crit multi. It got 1 res and 1 stat. So this case being strength. It could also be int. It could also be dex. Alright, so whatever you want to have, just take it and get it. Those can be quite cheap. Right now, I got this one for 50C, I think, or 60, which is a steal for this, to be honest. It's probably more like 2 to 3x in my opinion, but that depends on the user. I was pretty happy with that. And you have to have 2 unset rings with the same mods, alright? So you want to have, again, life, 1 res, flat damage, percent ally damage of attack skills. I couldn't find anything better. I crafted on the empty suffix +1 to minimum endurance charges, and on the other one also minimum endurance charges with some flat damage, although I got the physical damage here and not the elemental damage, which is sad, but it's okay. But yeah, something along those lines. You can free choose what you want, but I would highly recommend at least getting life and 1 res. Anything else is vanity, and then the minimum endurance charge for more elemental res that is permanent, and so on and so on. Also, keep in mind, those endurance charges you have here are not consumed when using Immortal Core, and you won't get more physical damage reduction, alright? And that's a tip for all of you that don't really understand how stuff like Flicker Strike works. If you have minimum charges, that just raises the cap of 0 charges to a specific number. Treat this like you have 0 charges. If I have 0 charges and I use Immortal Call, I get 0 benefit because I don't have any charges that I can remove. If I have 2 charges that are permanent and my minimum, I cannot remove these charges and therefore don't get the buff. Alright, same goes for Flicker Strike. If you can't remove a Frenzy Charge, you won't skip the cooldown. Alright, I just wanted to make that clear. Right, this only gives us 25% less damage taken, which is pretty good. You can also use Steel Skin here. Whatever floats your boat, you can obviously use Steel Skin on left click or whatever, and use something like, where is it? Dreamer, no, like Dynamo? Yeah, like Dynamo to generate your mana. Whatever floats your boat, do what you think you like, do whatever you want, but I'm currently sustaining my mana with leeching. Again, you cannot leech maps with this, and yeah. That's basically it. Did I miss any item? I don't think so. We've discussed all the Abyss Jewels. For the Flasks, of course, you want to have an Arterious Promise. Just get the highest elemental roll, because the physic isn't that really interesting for us. Unless you're running a Headhunter, which again is really nice. Get a Diamond Flask. I got one of Staunching to be bleed immune against things like Corrupting Blood. If you're Corrupting Blood immune, you can do something else right here. For the Adrenaline Flask, get Alchemist of Adrenaline to be more fast throughout the map, but you can obviously get something else if you're so pleased to, but I would highly recommend getting Adrenaline because we don't need any more ailment immunities, because we are elemental ailment immune with all our 3 or 4 golems alive. Then for the Granite Flask, get a Walling Flask to be curse immune and you're good to go. 5th Flask slot is completely up to you. Either White Oak or the Basalt Flask with the of the Iron Skin mod to get even more armor. And yeah, whatever floats your boat, you can probably use a a Bottled Faith there in the slot and rest cap through the jewels in your belt and be good to go. But yeah, that's the build. I hope I talked about everything that is viable for this build, a single snippet or whatever. Please tell me in the comments if I missed anything or I did something wrong. I don't think so. Let's take a look at the checkmarks in the POB real quick. This is again for bosses which has friendly charges. You normally won't have these. That's why I mean it's inflated. It's more like 8 to 7 million. But again, that's why the showcase was for, to show you that the conquerors fall really easily, even if the numbers don't really respect here in POB. And for mapping, you probably want to take out Cyrus, go to no boss, check innovation, go to skills, put out barrage, put the hypothermia in, and that should about be correct. I'm not really 100% sure, especially because of the effect of shock. I set it to 15% at the moment, because normally POB, when you have nothing in here and the checkmark shocked, it doesn't change your DPS in any way, shape or form. So I just picked 15% because I think that's like the base shock of Skitterbots or something, and I think that is doable with one hit. You are hitting pretty big with Power Siphon, so yeah, whatever floats your boat. Exposure type depends on the element. I currently have fire because that is what my wave conviction will trigger, but if you have lightning, sure, go for that too. Whatever pleases you or whatever build you're running at the moment. If your fire damage is higher, if your lightning damage is higher, whatever. But yeah, that's the build. Again, if there's anything you want to add, you want to ask in the comments, feel free to ask me either here on YouTube in the comments, where I will answer everything you guys have to say, or just come over to my Twitch, ask me there about stuff and details in this build. I'm happy to help every one of you, and I will obviously answer you in English, even though my stream is in German. Any of the links, the POB, my Discord, the Twitch or whatever, is linked in the description. Again, Discord is only for like live notifications and some communication between us, because Twitch sucks at that. And yeah, that's it. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a little bit about the build, and I will see what my next character will be, because in like 4 days our private league will start, which will give you all like complete random builds that you have to play, or something like, I don't know, like Marauder, and then go into Jug and play, I don't know, Shock Nova totems or whatever. It's really interesting, and I'm really hyped to do this, and it will start in exactly 10 days. The builds will be rolled out in 4 days or something. If you want to join, sure, feel free to do that. You'll find any information in the FAQ, in the exclamation mark Würfel command, I should change that to !cube or dice for you guys that are not native German speakers, because this is obviously a German private league, but we would be happy to see more English speaking people there. But yeah, that's it. I hope you had a fun time watching to this, and yeah, have a great day. Bye bye.